What's poppin', y'all? You notice how we haven't heard the name Doechii in a very long time? Well, I put out this tweet that ended up banging, and it got me thinking of a much darker and suspicious behavior from that camp. So I put out the tweet on May 26th saying, notice how nobody has even heard the word Doechii in the past 6 months, but we were supposed to believe she was the hottest thing on earth. Now, where did this thought process come from? Because I need to walk you through exactly how I came up with this tweet, how Doechii even came into my mind, and why I ended up putting this tweet out. So first off, this came from, and all started off with me discovering this artist, Trim. And I covered her in a different video, this female rapper. And I was like, yo, this girl kind of hard. So I messed with her, and then I sent her music to a friend via text. So I sent her music to the friend, and he's like, yo, this girl's kind of fire. And then he says, but you're taking her over Doechii? And I was like, whoa. So he reminded me about Doechii. And then I thought, wait, what has Doechii been doing as of lately? And then I look her up and I see, like nothing's going on. So that's what prompts me to just put out this tweet. Because on X, I just throw up random thoughts that I have that can't really turn into videos, or that it would be like a 2-minute video, so it doesn't even make sense. And then I'll just throw stuff up on X. But frankly, X is full of a lot of dumb people, and it makes me love you guys even more, like big heart, because I feel like my comment section, especially here on YouTube, I don't know what it is. I don't know what happened. Well, I feel like it's been like this for many years. You guys are like this. It's not a gem. A gem is not the right word. It's like this pearl. Yeah, it's like I've got a bunch of pearls and people are opening up their oysters and there's just like doo-doo in there. And I've just got these pearls that give thoughtful and thought-provoking comments and just overall like a really healthy comment section. Not a glazing comment section. That's a little bit different. But back to the point. So the fact that this tweet boomed means one thing, that a lot of people share the same feeling or sentiment. It doesn't mean I'm correct or anything like that. So a lot of people feel this way. And this tweet started to draw the ire of a lot of like big Twitter accounts. And there's this whole subsection of X that just talks about like rap music, and they kind of glaze certain rappers, Doechii being one of them. I was like, what? And they started to come after me. I'm like, oh, these guys why are they so defensive? Like, I just asked a question. And for somebody like a Doechii, if she's so poppin', where is the anticipation for her project? There is none. She doesn't have a debut album yet. Well, Alligator Bites Never Heal. I don't know, was that a debut? It did win a Grammy, so it had to meet the requirements for that. But we start to get a bunch of people coping in the replies. You can even look up the tweet. And then I lean into it a little bit more. And I say, the Doechii copers are insane. Because some people were saying, man, she's just working on her debut. Like, what do you expect? Oh, she just had a song with Lady Gaga on the Devil Wears Prada 2 movie. Notice how they had to tell us that and none of us knew that. And that song was DOA. You want to know another song that was made for a movie with an actor that actually performed well with Lady Gaga? Bradley Cooper. Yeah, they had that one song that was number 1 or in the top 10 for weeks upon weeks upon weeks, for months actually. So clearly we've got a big disparity between a Bradley Cooper song who doesn't have a Grammy, by the way, or isn't a Grammy-winning artist. That song might have been nominated. I don't know. But what I'm talking about is prior to that song. And then I said, someone that was authentically getting swarmed like this in Paris is going to have a conversation about her consistently. There will be fans talking. And I said, let's keep it a buck. She has zero motion. 9 Vicious. These people, this guy signed to the new YSL. These are underground acts coming up. Blood, Bliad, I don't even know how this guy's pronounced. Shay, Slayer, the last of which I've only listened to one song by. All of these guys get more attention, more conversation, more anticipation than Doechii. And none of them have any award or a major hit. And I don't give a damn what she's working on, because if she's working on something, then there would be anticipation for it. Like, for example, Nine Vicious, this guy, when he was working on his project, I'm hearing about it nonstop. They're like, yo, when is this coming out? Or I'll give you another example, Ken Carson, Project X, when that was coming out, or Project Teen, I don't even know. The one that looked like the Project X cover. He was really small at that time, but the hype around that was insane. You couldn't avoid it if you were involved in hip hop whatsoever. With Doechii, it's like you're telling me a girl that blew up this big and had such a massive hit and a Grammy and supposedly had this active fan base, they're not like looking for leaks. They're not just taking over the timeline. There's just nothing. A big nothing burger. And I say, it's okay. She's a talented artist that released a really good mixtape album. I did a live stream. I've probably done 2 live streams in 8 years. One of them was listening to the first posthumous album by XXXTentacion. And I don't even know how many people were on there. It might have been like 78 or something like that. I remember the number exactly. It was definitely maybe like peaked at 101. If you were there, that's crazy. That was so long ago. It had to be 2018, I think. And then this Doechii one. And I listened to it, and of course, it's like because of copyright reasons. And I like the album. I like Doechii as an artist. I enjoy her music. So it's funny when people say, like, man, this guy hates on Doechii's music. No, you clearly haven't listened to what I've said. And even in this tweet, you know that they're just on autopilot, because I'm saying that she's talented, but you're not going to lie to us. And I said, we can admit that she released a good mixtape album. I do think a lot of people are just hating on her. Like Aiden Ross and the like, I think they just hate on her because she feels like so forced on them. But I said, we can also admit that they were frauding how popular she really was. And people talking about a Gaga feature that went straight to the end screen of a movie, and a timeless remix that was as forgettable as Ye's remix of Like That. People were like, yo, she was on Timeless. I didn't even know she was on Timeless. Timeless, the song with The Weeknd and Playboi Carti, I had no idea. I was like, wait, that actually came out? And it's like That. And some people were like, wait, Ye dropped a remix to Like That? Yeah, he did. The one with Metro Boomin and Future. He tried to hop in on the Drake beat. And y'all know how much I love Ye music. And y'all probably love Ye music. None of us wanted that. None of us wanted Ye on that. And it's evidenced by the fact that even Metro Boomin and them, they didn't want to clear it. He just put it out on YouTube, and nobody really cared past like 12 hours. So I would get quoted by somebody and saying, Doechii's currently working on her debut. Please remember, great artists prioritize quality over quantity. Don't be surprised when she's number 1 again. I'm like, yo, this is such a suspicious and just weird tweet to send out. And I reply, I'm like, well, Doechii's never been number 1. Not on the albums chart, nor the singles chart. And we won't be surprised if she starts winning awards again, though. And you can see it right here. 0 number 1 hits. She's had 9 songs, and top 10 hits is 1. And that was The Anxiety. And then on the Billboard 200 is the albums. So she's never been number 1 at anything. I don't even know why that would come up. And then somebody tries to be critical and says, yo, I don't even like Doechii, but saying these little industry plants get more attention is asinine. It's like, well, no, they don't. You can measure it by every observable metric. And the most observable metric is not how much somebody streams, how high did they chart, how much radio play did they get. It's how many people are, of course, showing up to their shows. That's the most important one. But how much activity and anticipation is there for the next thing that's going to come out? How much conversation is being drummed up about them, especially if there's a fan base? Because if there's a fan base, there are going to be people that meet up with each other digitally and have conversations, whether it be group chats, whether it be Twitter communities, which have now been removed. So I just go and do a little bit like some Google Trend searching. And I was like, these quote industry plants are washing her. And that major spike for Doechii was because of the Met Gala. Nothing to do with her music career. Slayer is the only one consistently below her, and he's the newest rapper right now. So you can see all of these charts. You can see that Doechii is the one in the blue, and she's consistently underneath a couple of these people. But just the fact that she's even in the same world as these people, and this is the closest thing that we could search up. And this is in the US mainly. And we did the past 3 months. Like these guys that I mentioned, they're pretty irrelevant. Like we're not talking a Don Toliver. We're not talking a Yeet. We're not talking, hell, we're not even talking about a fake Mink. Like we're talking about guys that are tier 3 rappers right now. Not tier 4. Like, they're C-list rappers. They're still on the up and up, even though they're well known and they have strong fan bases. So the behavior around this made me think of this Academics clip when he was talking about meeting up with Dave Free.
Where eventually even says, like, bro, how much is he paying you for this? And I'm so stupid. In the moment, I'm thinking, wait, you think Drake paid me to come here? What the f? So I think I said, nobody knows I'm coming here. Even Drake. What the f? Like, what, you think Drake would pay me to go to a concert? What the f? No, then he said, no. I'm like, pay you for all of this shit that you're saying. And I'm like, huh? He's like, bro, like, I want to know what you're getting from this. And that's who I think he's a smart businessman. But that's when I was just like, wait, they thought Drake bought me? I've never been more insulted.
So this situation happened when Academics had bought tickets or box seats or something to a Kendrick Lamar show when he was doing the GNX tour. And he was approached by Dave Free, who was former president, like an executive at TDE, and he left to work with Kendrick Lamar on PG Lang now. And what really opened my eyes with this Doechii experience was that if this guy approached Academics just in absolute shock and awe that Academics wasn't getting paid to post favorably about Drake, like he's like, yo, how much is he paying you? What does that lead you to probably believe? That individual probably has people that are being paid or being incentivized in some manner to talk positively about people that he works with. And I'm not saying that, everybody's getting paid to talk about Doechii, but when you look at the average person, not a Twitter account associated with hip hop that has some clout on X, when you look at normal people, normal streamers, normal content creators, everyone's like, yo, we're not buying this whole Doechii was the hottest thing in the game. And this was when she had an actual hit on the charts. Like, yeah, the hit is legitimate. That's a song that a lot of people found catchy. But to try to paint it as, she was this next wave, and then try to gaslight the people that are like, yo, she's not hot, she's not popping. And now that the dust has settled, after winning a Grammy, after having a hit, after doing a tour, after doing all this other stuff, festivals, and there's zero anticipation for what she's going to drop next. And this is just a forewarning that when she does drop, notice how everything's going to get turned up to 10. But where is the fan base? And we're not talking about a silent fan base. She deserves to with all the accolades that she's received, to have an active fan base. And this is something that can only be done with time. Well, time, and it can't just be good music, because Doechii makes better music than a lot of those other underground guys that I mentioned. Significantly better music. Let me say that. But people were also trying to paint her as like a Tyler, the Creator type. Well, Tyler, the Creator had very active fans of Odd Future. So maybe it's because Doechii doesn't interact with her fans more. I don't know. But this is something very fishy, and it's clear that nobody really cares about Doechii, and they haven't for 6 months. And that's a long time to be absent. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Do you think people were getting paid to post favorably about Doechii? I never took any payment for anything. So my positive opinion, I'm seen as a Doechii hater, even though I gave a positive opinion of her album. But this is the thing. People will have a positive opinion of an album and then start to lie to themselves, is my belief, about the popularity of the artist, which I just can't do. Let me know, and I'm going to see y'all in the next one. Oh yeah, actually, just to wrap it in a bow from how this all started, which was Trim, which you should watch that video. It'll be linked in the end cards. This girl, Trim, actually has real motion. Now, it's not very active, and it's with women, so a lot of us may not see it, but this girl's got chicks messing with her music. And I would even go as far as to say that a Saweetie had more motion than a Doechii, as did a Doja Cat's obviously very, very popular. But Saweetie was never really like the number one artist or getting any accolades that Doechii got. So yeah, with Trim, I think she's building up a base, and you can see anticipation for what she's got going on. Similarly with Flo Milli too. Like Flo Milli, there's anticipation. You can find talk about her. And these two girls are a fraction of the size and the marketing spend that went to Doechii.